Madam Speaker, and I will be joined by other Republicans. I would welcome if any of my Democratic friends, healthcare providers are sitting in their office watching us on television, on C-SPAN. If they want to come over and join us and weigh in on this, I would be glad to yield them time. Because the purpose, there's no partisanship involved here. The purpose is to try to inform our colleagues, all 435 in the House, so that they can inform their constituents, and each one, as you know, Madam Speaker, represents almost 700,000 people in their respective districts, and we are all getting calls. I mean, people are scared. I would say that some fear is warranted, but a pandemic of panic is not warranted. And so the more information that we as members of Congress can give to our constituents and that our staff can give when they call the office, either here in Washington or in our district offices, then we get to keep this thing in its proper perspective. And that's my purpose tonight, and that's the purpose of my colleagues that will be joining me later in the hour to talk about this issue and to make sure that people have enough information that they can take care of themselves and their children, or maybe their elderly parents, or possibly someone in the family whose immune system is compromised, so that they know what to do, they know what the risks are, they know what their government is doing. And Madam Speaker, I want to commend and compliment the federal government and our respective state health departments. The Center for Disease Control in my great state of Georgia, which, as you know, is an integral part of the Department of Health and Human Services, and is really the lead agency, if you will, in regard to infectious disease, communicable disease, epidemiology, and the interim director, Dr. Besser, and previously the director of CDC, Dr. Julie Geberdine. These are the kind of people, both with experience in infectious disease. In fact, Dr. Geberdine, internal medicine specialist, subspecialty being infectious disease. It's comforting to know that these kinds of professionals are standing guard. They're watching our back. We had a hearing last week when to both Republicans and Democrats, the new secretary, the day after she was confirmed, Kathleen Sebelius, former governor of Kansas and now Secretary of Health and Human Services, former governor of Arizona, Janet Napolitano, now Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, and Admiral Shusat from the Department of from the CDC, who is a brigadier general in the Department of Public Health, all spoke to us and told members of Congress exactly what the plan was and what was being done and what is currently being done in regard to this impending pandemic. It certainly, we're pleased a week later to find out that things are much better today on, what is it, the 5th of May than they were a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And it looks like we are not, Madam Speaker, going to have a pandemic of this potentially very virulent virus that has occurred in our past history. We'll talk a little bit maybe about what happened in 1918 when 50 million people across the world died from influenza. Of course, that was a different time. It probably started in the United States in very confined quarters as men were training to be rushed into the battle of the Great War, World War I, and very, very close contact. But of course, back then there were no vaccinations against any kind of flu, seasonal flu, avian flu, this current type A H1N1 influenza virus. No vaccine, and more importantly, Madam Speaker, no antibiotics. It was not until 1941, I think, or thereabouts, that penicillin was discovered. So you really had no way of treating, no effective way of treating complications, and of course, the complication that would lead to death in let's say, even the 35,000 deaths that occur today following just regular seasonal flu. Complications from seasonal flu, they're respiratory.